Hey y'all, Barry Bales here from Bales Farms.
I'm Allison.
You seem surprised by that.
I
How
thought
long
you were
have you
gonna.
been, Allison?
I thought you were gonna introduce me.
Well, I thought I would give you, I mean, you're a big girl.
Thanks.
I mean, not physically, but. Welcome to Front Porch Conviviality, Episode 2. That's not easy to say. I should have come up with something
You should
easier
have
to
thought
say.
about that.
But
Did you win a Bell's Farms Cup?
I did, I won one. Yeah, I'm still waiting on it. It hasn't
Oh.
come yet.
Okay. Is it 4 to 6 weeks? Cash on delivery?
I don't know. It's probably longer than that with COVID if it's like
True.
everything else.
True.
It'll come when we get our refrigerator. We've had a refrigerator on order since
July.
July,
July.
and they have no idea when it's coming. So,
Or where it is.
yeah.
We did get a call that it was going to be delivered.
But it was a false alarm.
Mm-hmm.
But there's lots of worse things than that. If that's our biggest problem,
That's exactly
then
right.
we're okay. Hey, hope y'all are doing great. And if you are joining us again after last week's episode,
Bless your heart.
bless your hearts. Thank you for your optimism. If you're joining us for the first time, boy, you really missed out. Last week was incredible. It was earth-shattering. So here we are today. I've got a new setup. I thought I hated to deprive all of you all of our beautiful view of the Smoky Mountains and the pond and the rest of the farm. So we've kind of rearranged here. Hope you like it. It's cocktail time. It's Friday, Labor Day weekend. I've got to quit saying I do that way too much. What are you having tonight, Allison?
I am having a honey basil martini. I just picked the basil out of the garden, and the honey is from our local neighbor just down the way.
As opposed to
Well, we live out in the country.
our distant
so-
neighbor?
Well, neighbors that's a relative term here. It's one of our closest neighbors, but she's about a mile away.
Right. I mean, I know her. They don't.
Right.
But anyway, local honey.
Local honey, basil out of the garden just now, muddled, and gonna enjoy it.
And I just sort of defaulted to, I'm still without a garnish for some reason. Maybe it's the COVID delay. I'm having an old fashioned and very simple, very classic drink. There I go again. Treating myself a little bit tonight because it is a holiday weekend. In theory, farmers never have holidays. This is made with 12-year-old Weller bourbon, so it's quite top shelf. So we'll go easy on that. And we have some lovely flowers here, don't we?
That's right, from my sweet friend Brittany.
Okay, thank you, Brittany.
Yeah.
So Marshall is out gathering his eggs. Well, not his eggs, the chicken's eggs. And we have been on, today was delivery day to Johnson City. And I went on an ill-fated run trying to find a cattle trailer, and it was not as advertised, so I came home without it. And here we are. We have some questions tonight that we're going to answer. Is that right?
Yes, the first question is, what is your favorite animal to raise on the farm?
Is that for me?
Sure.
Okay. My favorite animal to raise. I'm one of those, as you well know, they don't necessarily, I have to qualify everything. It depends on the angle from which you speak. My favorite animal that we raise, purely from their personality and just the way they are, not to mention the way they taste, are pigs. Pigs are awesome. Pigs are very intelligent. They're very, when they want to be, they're very sweet, very playful. They can also be very stubborn. You can make a cow go about anywhere you want to. I mean, you can make a cow do about anything. If a pig don't want to do it, it ain't gonna do it. You can't make a pig do anything. So, from a personality standpoint, I love pigs the best. pigs are by their very nature, I mean, they are in general, but the way we pasture raise, and I like to keep my pastures in good condition, and I don't like to have a mess. So pigs can be very destructive, and you have to be very careful and very mindful of your rotation and not let them stay in one place too long and make too many great big wallers or get it down to where it looks like the moon. So you have to be a little more on top of your rotation with the pigs. Cows, I've said this many times, I love raising cattle. I just don't like cows. Cows are stupid. But if you have the right infrastructure, if you have water, if you have good fencing, cows are so easy. We've been trying to, we have some really good fencing and good watering in a few of our fields. We're still working on that in what I call the backfield. And I rotated them through there over the summer with temporary electric fence and temporary watering. Some of y'all may have seen on Instagram the jury's still out on whether it was successful or not, my Cow Palace watering trailer. But it seems like every time I'd go out there, one or two of the cows would be out of the fence, the temporary fence. Now they wouldn't go far, they'd be on the other side from where they were supposed to be, but it was just a constant battle. So with cows, you need really good fence, and you need the infrastructure. That makes them easy. Pigs, by their personality, are pretty easy until it comes time to load them. You can't force them to load. What we do is I take my livestock trailer down and set it up at the loading chute probably a week ahead of time, and I quit feeding them out in the field, and I start feeding them in the livestock trailer to where they get used to going in there. And then in theory it gets where you go feed them, they go in the trailer, and you shut the door. That's it. So all that to say, pigs are my favorite.
The next question is it hard when it is time to harvest the pigs?
Well, it's hard on anything unless you have those. There's always one in every batch of animals, particularly pigs and cows. There's always one that's the troublemaker, and you're always glad to see them go. But yes, in general, yeah. We love animals. That's why we do what we do, because we love animals and we want them to have a great life, a healthy life, and we are obviously fully on board with being carnivores and meat eaters. A lot of you that follow us or follow me on other things probably know that I love to hunt and I love wild game. We fix wild game a lot. So I sort of carry that thought over to our farming practices. Our animals have, as far as farm animals go, our farm animals have the best life possible. They are babied and cared for and have great pasture, everything. We feel that we owe that to them if they're going to ultimately give their lives to provide us with food and sustenance and protein. And so yeah, when you interact with animals on a daily basis and you go down to the pigs and they come up to you and they rub on your leg and you scratch them behind the ears, yeah, it's a what's the word I'm looking for? There's a rub there. There's a twinge, but it's not. I don't think that it's bad. I think it makes you hyper aware life and the situation, and okay, well, these living things are in my care, and you try to adjust your production model and your care of them accordingly, and give them the best possible, because they will in turn give you the best possible thing that they can. So yes, it's it's not easy. It's part of the job, and to a degree, that's what got me back into it at this level. Is when Marshall, our son, was born, I wanted him to know that pull. You know, that if you just go to the grocery store and pick up a styrofoam tray with a steak in it, there's no feeling, there's no thought behind it, there's no wrestling with anything. It's just, hey, a steak, let's go cook it and eat it. So I wanted him to know where his food comes from and know the responsibility that goes into caring for that food. And I think that anything related to that is a good thing ultimately, if you will let it be. So there you go.
Good job.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So what else? What else you got to talk about? Anything? What's on your mind? What have you been doing? I think you should tell them the story about the champagne flutes.
That may be for another one. But
No, I think it's funny. You don't have to get graphic about it, but because I'll tell it if you don't.
I'll let you tell it.
Okay. So my wife somewhere along the way read an article or a story or a historical something that mentioned that.
I love history.
I do too. But I didn't read this in history. That
Your teachers weren't as good.
somewhere along the way, the champagne glass was modeled after Marie Antoinette,
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
after her
Anatomy.
upper female anatomy, let's say. So she had in her mind, she was used to seeing champagne flutes, which I'm sure most of y'all know what those look like, which gave her great concern.
For poor Marie Antoinette.
Exactly.
She did have multiple children, and so she
Which
probably breastfed.
you could think, well, okay, well, no, I won't go that far. But she was greatly relieved to find out that it was actually the coupe glass, like you see. I always think of those as, like, I used to watch westerns growing up, and like Miss Kitty on Gunsmoke would always drink champagne in the Long Branch out of a glass like that. So that is the actual, or the more historical. We don't. Who knows? But
Yes.
that would be a lot better if that was
It's a
the
lot
model.
It's a lot better.
Yeah, than a champagne flute.
So I have a question. You said Miss Kitty drank champagne at the.
The Long Branch Saloon on Gunsmoke.
That's the name of the saloon.
Yeah.
Did you all know that? I did not know that. That is some trivia.
What was Miss Kitty's real name?
I don't know.
Amanda Blake.
Hmm.
James Arness as Matt Dillon.
Yes.
Ken Curtis as Festus. Milburn Stone as Doc.
I obviously did not pay.
I
As
know,
much
there's
attention.
probably very few people out there that are into.
I was reading history and studying.
Well, I was reading history, but I wasn't studying because I was reading so much history. I never took my history book home. But I've told you this 1,000 times. If there are any Gunsmoke fans out there, you will appreciate this. Otherwise, it's completely wasted. And I think most people my age or above know who Festus is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ken Curtis, the actor who played Festus on Gunsmoke, when he was a younger man, he was a singer, and he was in a lot of John Wayne movies, John Ford movies. She wore a yellow ribbon, all of those cavalry pictures, westerns. in various forms. And a lot of times he would sing, and a lot of times in those movies and also in real life, he was loosely associated with the Sons of the Pioneers. But even before that, he was the featured vocalist back in the 40s with Tommy Dorsey's big band, the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra. And when he left that band, his replacement was Frank Sinatra.
Really?
How about that?
Wow, that is unbelievable. Was that Frank Sinatra's first big job?
It was.
So if he had not gone on to play Festus, we would never have heard of Frank Sinatra?
No old Blue Eyes.
You are kidding me.
Do I look like I'm kidding?
That is unbelievable.
I see how much you listen to me. I've told you that like 100 times in the past.
Well, this is just all for TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was really asleep during most of that.
But I always thought that was a very interesting little anecdote.
Yes.
So, what do you got planned for? I like your dress.
Thank you.
That looks expensive.
Barry's teasing me because, can I say, I mean, we're not sponsored by them, so can I say we're not sponsored by anybody?
We could say anything we want to. We were just talking about Marie Antoinette's boobs. I don't think we've got many kids watching this show.
They're watching Marshall's YouTube channel.
It's probably worse.
It's probably got more viewers than us.
Oh well.
Oh, this is from J. Crew. If you're watching this,
I mean, we can say it because they're going out of business, right?
something like that. But if you're watching this and it's still fall, it's still September, they're having a huge sale because the word on the street is that they're going out of business. And so they have everything 80% off right now. And what about your shirt?
I picked that up on the street. There was a hobo laying on it, and I kicked him off of it.
That is not true.
I'm sorry.
I bought you that.
My wife got me this as a joke, obviously.
No, I got you that several years ago. Multiple
Back
years
when it was
ago.
true.
No. It's just another example of us not quitting on something just because it's got a little wear.
It's like Deets.
We're like Deets.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if anybody knows that reference, you can type it in the comments, and
Yes.
if they ever come, you might want a cup. I don't know.
A Bell's Farms cup. We should, at the end of every video, we should say like a special word. You know, like the word of the day is like on Sesame Street. And then if people actually like make it to the end of the video, they can
That's
they
brilliant.
can text us
We
the
should-
word
we
and
should-
then
We should save the good stuff till the end, so they will have to watch.
but we could say a word and then if they like shenanigan, and then if they say shenanigan to us, if they text it to us or something, or put it in their Instagram stories or whatever, then maybe they'll win a Bell's Farms cup.
Wow, that's deep. I got to think about that for a little bit.
Well, we need to give them something for watching these videos.
Well, it's free. It doesn't cost anything.
That's true.
Except for
what are you gonna do? It's
an hour off
2020.
their life.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, it just feels like an hour.
It's really not. And on that note, cheers.
Well, we made it through another week. Here's to.
Homeschooling, dealing with a 13-year-old.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Anyone who has wisdom on how to get it through, let us know. And for those of you who are coming along behind
Well,
us,
it's
good luck
universal
to you.
because I mean, I was exactly that way, and I was just as ridiculous as he's being. So it's just part of it. You can't. Unfortunately, I've always said it would be awesome if we all had USB ports in our brain, and the previous generation could download everything they've learned, and we wouldn't have to go through it all. But it's not the way it's set up.
Just can't do it that way.
So is that it? Are we done?
I think that's it. What's the word of the day?
Tuscarora.
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 And if you know what that's from, type it in the comments below.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Everybody have a great holiday weekend. Take it easy.
Tuscarora.
Is it going to be warm enough to swim? I guess it is. ski, boat. If you're on the lake, make sure you got a boat or some sort of watercraft, and personal flotation. And
Don't do anything we wouldn't do.
no, I wish they would take a break for one and not work. But anyway, stay safe. Send in your questions for the next episode. We should change that because that sounds like something medical, like something that you get taken in an ambulance for. Our next, we'll work on that. We'll have something by next time. Anyway, see y'all. Thanks. This is where I get up and walk over and turn the camera off. Bye.